Like Shy said, dude, what manuscript do you become a man at? Like, is it after high school? Mm-hmm. Is it after college? Is it after you get married? Is it after you have a kid? You know what I mean? Where is the man? It's no real manuscripts of how to navigate.
Yeah.
All I can say, like we said earlier, is keep moving forward.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't get caught up in comparison. Like, don't get caught up in the feed, bro.
The feed.
Get out of the feed, man.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to 714 Podcast.
714 Podcast, we out here.
Yes, sir. I'm here with Mr. Fully.
Hey, man, I'm here with the genius over here, the podcast guru himself.
Nah,
we've been having service before here, so it's just a continuance of that service, right?
I know. We got here at, I think, 11. We got like an hour conversation, just like randomly talking.
Hey, man, when the vibe is right, you know, you just flow. It's flow state,
exactly, man. There's something about being around good people and people that you enjoy talking to and just vibe with in general, that have aspirations and that are grounded in their purpose and principle. Like there's some type of thing.
You can talk for hours. At that point, man. It's like it's like I've been knowing you my whole life. It's like
exactly
a hand in a glove. And especially when I found out at Cal State Fullerton, I was like, this is gonna be like one of the days back in college, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, you were explaining to me when we just met, like all the businesses that you do, the new ones that you're starting up. Like
man.
It's fucking crazy.
Wild. I'm insane. Insane. But it takes that you all to do what we do, to do what this guy does every single day. But yeah, Classic Gentleman, been running that for like 6 or 7 years. Lifestyle brand. Started in Cal State Fullerton. Community culture couture is what we're based on.
What got you interested in that?
Actually, my buddy Matt, shout out him, and my first business partner, then D Hill, who was like in the visual arts department, who was masters, like everything synergy. He was like, see me around campus, and he's like, dude, you're fly. I was wearing Hawaiian shirts and like briefcases and the blazers and all. You know how we do at Cal State with the Sperry's, right? And he's like, dude, we should do like a business. And I was like, okay, what is it gonna be called? Because everyone knew me on campus as that guy. Like, oh, he's that guy on campus. I'm like, okay, so we looked it up. That guy is bad. Obviously, don't want to do that. It's a bad like frat term. And then we was like Classic Man, because the whole Jadena thing was cool during that thing. And then we went with Classic Gentleman, and we did like a random acts of kindness day through Fullerton and Cal State. And we also did like a big, he had like a big school project where we like during finals week, we brought like 800 people out to a viewing. Damn. So we're like, dude, we do good work together. I was the promoter and he was like the guy that put it together. And so when it was time for us to make money, we're like, how are we gonna make money? I'm like, why don't we do networking events? We already know how to bring people together in cool little atmospheres. And so that's how we got our like way of making money. And then coincidentally, shout out my boy Chris. He had a freelance bartending business that did corporates, weddings, and quinceañeras. And he's like, hey, I'm done with this business. This kind of aligns. We're like, dude, this is year one. How can we manage? So we took that on, and that was the more lucrative business, obviously, because it'd been around for like 3 or 4 years. And then I was like, dude, but what about the people that don't like classic stuff, the partiers, the EDM, the hip hoppers? So then we came up with Culture Clash OC, which like focuses on like promoting parties and hip hop culture, EDM culture, just that whole scene.
I know that's been on the increasing as well, like EDM and the festivals and all that stuff.
That was like I was ahead of the curve, right? But obviously my business partner style is insane. They're like, dude, another one? We don't need that. So that was like kind of like on the back burner. And then the recent one has been TBD House, which is to be determined house in Laguna, about to open. It's a content house, focuses on videography, photography, pods like this, and like events.
That's
so
dope.
It's been a blessing. Shout out my boy Brandon, who's my business partner over there.
You just had a business call with him, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Before the pod. Man, you gotta tap in when you're running behind schedule, right? Just because you're the rock star, it means you still gotta tap in. They will know if you're late.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I was fucking late for this too, man. Like I was my bad.
Dude, I completely understand, dude. I used to be double book. I was the booker. I am the booker for like TBD.
Yeah.
And so I had a double booking yesterday.
Too many schedules.
Too many schedules, like aligning. You got your real life schedule, you got the business schedule, and you got people's schedules.
I know.
It's like
it's so much.
You're only one person.
Exactly.
You know, you try to please everybody, but hey, man, we're
I'm
only
glad
human.
we have like the technology now that it's kind of easier. Like you could
just like
schedule on dates and stuff, like
push
reminders.
Back, calendar,
communication,
bro. Love the calendar. I'm addicted to the calendar.
Okay.
He like, one of my team's like, dude, why are you always putting? I'm like, dude, because you're gonna ask me like what's coming up, and I'm gonna be like, I don't know, because we're just talking ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, love your freaking Google Calendar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it keeps you on track. Like you gotta
right.
have.
People think it's cliche during school. No, it's a real life thing. Put it in the calendar.
Put it in the calendar. Yeah, and you know, I think that way, and even writing down on notes we talked about.
The notes,
like
dude, that's huge.
That's the biggest thing for me. Like I might not have things scheduled right away. It might be too much, and I'm busy. But if I write it down in
notepad,
notes,
dude, you'll never forget it, because you're gonna see your notepad every day. You're gonna look at it every day. It's like a Bible, right?
Yeah.
And so like you put it in there and you're like, oh, this idea is coming up. Oh, okay, that was that date, right? Mm-hmm. And then like you're able to correlate it when you have some time and you're like sitting there listening to music or vegging out or whatever.
Yeah. Ideas are abundant, man. Like if you just write them down and like are willing to put effort into creating them.
Follow through.
Yeah, that's it. Like everything that I've done so far and that I plan on doing is through ideas that just come through randomly, and I write it down and then I look back at it every day. Like I just continue to look at the idea and think more about it. And I think as the more attention you put on something, the more it grows.
Because you're providing intention, right?
Yeah.
So that intention then like becomes like we said, the buzzword manifestation, right? Mm-hmm. You're then able to manifest or actualize your life.
Exactly.
And I think that's the whole thing of like being a creative entrepreneur, whatever you like, cool word you like to call it, being a human being.
Exactly.
Right?
Like I don't like to put any labels on it. Like call me whatever the fuck you want. I just do what I like.
You're right. It's all these words. Like it's crazy words, man. It's crazy right now how people can, we can really utilize these words to like kind of even put ourselves in boxes. But it's like, at the end of the day, I'm a human being beyond like all these titles you put on.
I know. Society puts so many titles on, and just I think it takes people out of the human aspect. Like you said, we're all human, but people start to think that there's something else.
That is you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the entrepreneur. I am the artist. I am this. And it's like, dude, you're just you. Like you said before, like I just try to love people at who they are and for what they are, not the label that society tells me to like place them in.
Exactly.
Know? And I think that's a very futurist idea, and hope that, mankind, we can aspire to just love from that place instead of from like a place of like canceling or like, you
just
can't
because
say
somebody's
that.
ideas are different.
It's different than mine. Cancel the guy. Like you can't have social media anymore. Like, dude, it's like, dude, like conversation can literally save the world.
Save the world. Exactly. Stuff like this. I mean, I've had so many people come on here and we might disagree on so many aspects, but we're talking and there's no distractions. There's no phones. Everything is off and we're just here across the table. And now they start to understand, and I start to understand their perspective, and they start to understand my perspective. And we realize nobody's like dies because we disagree.
Dude, it's sometimes like I was looking at Shy's interview, which shameless plug. Everyone should watch with
Shia LaBeouf,
with the one dude that's real ones. I can't remember his name. The other actor.
Yeah.
But
I forgot. Yeah, I know it.
Yeah,
I know
who he
exactly.
He's the Punisher. Okay.
John Barenthal.
Yeah, John Barenthal. Yeah. Sometimes you just need the ministry of presence and to be present. That's what he was saying, and I thought it was so powerful because like we're so not present. Mm-hmm. Like, and my business partner D is always like, love the one you're with, but it's like true because we're always like, dude, I got to get on the gram. I got to hear this and there. So you're like, you're not. And I do that as an entrepreneur, like, cause I'm like phone call, text, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, are you really listening? Are you really present? Are you really here?
Exactly.
And I think that's really what the ministry of presence here, like your whole heart, soul, and mind is like right there at the moment.
Right there. Yeah. When you're present, it seems as if everything just flows to you. Like I never have to struggle for creative ideas. I never have to focus, like in this moment, I'm not thinking about anything else except this conversation.
1,000%. And you can tell when someone's not present.
Yeah.
Because like, they're not, even like looking, inside, another man's like eyes and like, yo, eye contact. It's like, dude, that's important.
That's
all
important.
this, like those social cues that we kind of like misguide or we feel uncomfortable about. Those are like principles like of trust.
Exactly.
Like, you can't leave me in the eye, dude. Like, you have something going on. I don't know where I can't take you anywhere, dude. But it's like these things are just kind of being like lost arts because they're like, yo, that's some of the old school thought. And it's like, dude, sometimes like I'm a big proponent of I'm like, dude, some of the old school stuff was like, right, guys.
I know.
Like, I hate to admit it. Like, I'll talk to my dad sometimes and I'll be like, he'll say something and I'll be like, dang, he was right. Like,
he was right.
You know what I mean? Because we think we're so cool and like edgy and hip and like forward.
Yeah.
And like it goes back to like the old school, like, yo, handshake, look a man in the eye. Wear that blazer to the first intro. Like it's gonna get you a long way.
The simple things.
Yeah, the simple things, you know what I mean? That we kind of like skip over because you're old school, you know, but it goes a long way.
It should be, there's some things that are old school, but there are also things that have been done because it's tradition, right? Just for the name of tradition. Like there's so many things that like, I was just consulting for this, organization today for a class project. And when I was talking to them, a lot of the things that they were saying, a lot of the problems that that they were having was because it was tradition. Like they were doing the same things because the people before them were doing it.
And that's the definition of insanity, to do the same thing, expecting different results.
Exactly. And when I talk to them, I'm like, well, it seems very simple to me. Like this is something that you had to change.
Point B, point two. Yeah.
Like literally the shirt be changed,
right? Yeah. Dude, I thought about it's something that you said that too, because like, I'm a believer and it was like, yo, the children of Israel, 40 years, right? What took them 40 years could have really took them 10 days. They were just going around in circles.
Yeah.
And that's like society, right?
Yeah. Isn't that the story where like all of them die? Because they just didn't want to like move on to the next space. They were like still stuck in Egypt. And that's just like, that's culture. That's like society. Like, right. The definition of like what everything comes full circle. Right? Exactly.
And it's like, yo, to innovate, sometimes it's like just a straight line to the answer, like you were saying. But it's like, yo, usually, and the thing I usually find is like it's institutional. So then they got money behind why they want to keep it. And so voices like ours won't push through because we're not like at the front of the line with, the pod or the idea or whatever. So it's like, we got our money to keep these guys down. They're not going to cut through. Yeah. And it's our jobs as, the futurists or the people fighting the war to keep opening up our mouths and saying truth,
Yeah, don't be afraid to speak your truth and just do things that there's so many things in life that are standards that society created that you don't have to follow, because people know, like Steve Jobs says, people know smarter than you have created things like that we live by today. And if you think that that's how it is, it will be 1,000%. For the rest of your life.
I completely agree.
But you can change it. Like you have the power to do different things. Like if you don't want don't want just a job in life, like you don't want to just work a 9 to 5, you don't have to do that. You don't have to just
conform.
Conform. Or if you don't like living in the United States, you don't have to just live in the United States. Or you don't have to want $1 million. You could do something else. And there's so many different aspects to it. And
that was a bar, everyone. That was a code that he just dropped, because like, who told us that we had to do the things that we have to do? You know what I'm saying? Like we were just told like, yo, go to school, go get your diploma, go to get the degree. Then after that, get married, have the white picket fence, and have the child, and this and that. And it's like, dude, like the game is completely changed.
Exactly.
Like, well, what if I don't want to do that in that order? Maybe I don't even want to go to college. Maybe some people don't even like going to college. You know what I mean? It's like all these different things. And it's crazy because like, think about jobs. Zuck, Gates, all these guys, they didn't go to college, but they're billionaires with a B. So it's like, are we training me just to be the worker bee for? And then it's like, where are the companies do we want to work? Google, Apple,
you know what I mean?
For the guys that didn't get a degree,
yeah,
backwards thinking. But that's because it's like, these people told me to do this, and I'm gonna.
And there's no way of I think sharing, or there's no way of instilling this perspective. One must just develop it themselves.
We gotta deprogram and reprogram, dude. You're out the matrix. I'm out the matrix. So this is two free thinking guys talking. Like, we knew immediately where the conversation was gonna go. And you know when someone's not free and they're just like, nah, because
they're listening to everybody else.
Yeah, listening to everybody else, and then they're like, "Well, it's about the bag." And you can immediately when they go into the bag talk, I just get quiet, and I'm like, "Oh,
dude, the worst thing is, I'm gonna go into this business because it seems like it's taking off. Like, they just do stuff because they think that it's a good place to be. Like a new business. I've never done anything because the business or like it seemed like there was something happening.
Just riding the wave, like the Bitcoin, like the NFTs. Like we've seen it. We've seen it, right? We've seen it all. Like all the different phases. Like, oh, Apple has some stock, Facebook has some stock. Like all these different trends that people like feel like it's gonna happen, but then they come and they go
just as quick. Yeah,
just as quick. So it's like maybe you just should have been consistent in what you were already building yourself, and then that, like we were talking about, they're like maybe 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, you finally wind up on success, or you pivot and sell the business or whatever it is, just keep going forward,
exactly.
And be willing to fail. Like you were saying earlier, like like I'm a big Will Smith fan, fell forward, fell off. And I know he's canceled, but I love Will.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good idea to take with you, because every failure teaches you something. Like you're going to learn from it. And as long as you could view it that way, right? Don't be immobilized by fear and fear of failure, especially, right? I think that's what stops 99% of people is they just have all these imaginative thoughts about, what if this happens? What if it goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? What if it fails miserably?
Right,
and it will. It might.
It so amazing that we're so negative on ourselves as human beings? Like, that's why I love the quote I put in my story. Like, well, what if it works?
Yeah. What if it works?
What if I do win? Like, we never go there. We're never like, what if I do get the $1 million? We're always just like, everything's crash and burn. Like
something's programmed. I think like
to just go negative.
To go negative. Like it's easier to go negative
in our human code. Yeah.
Something I think is leaning towards that, because it's so easy to go that way. You don't have to put any effort to think negative. There's no effort in it, like, needed to think in a negative way, but you have to give everything you have to think positive. Like you have to give all your energy, all your thought, all your ideas to go in a certain direction and believe that you could do it, and to have faith. Like that's the hardest thing.
Dude, you gotta believe, and you gotta have faith, and message out there to. Yeah, we're good.
That 10%.
Okay, perfect. We're good. And that goes to show you the power. Message to men out there, especially, like, dude, if it doesn't happen in year one, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you have to go to a 9 to 5, or if you have to go whatever pathway, you're going to find your purpose. It's like not over. Like, when did we become a society that's like, yo, my life's over, dude, after college because I got the degree, but don't have the high end pay. Dude, no one has the high end paying job after college. Like, look it up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just got to keep cranking at it. And I have friends that's like, dude, it's easy for you to say because you have all these things going on.
It's never easy for anybody.
It's never easy for anybody. I'm just giving you the little bit of an olive branch to, like, yo, don't commit suicide over this, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have depression over this, or low self-esteem. Like, so many guys I talk to have that over, like, the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like why I try to champion, for for the modern man that's trying to navigate. It's crazy right now. Like Shy said, dude, what manuscript do you become a man at? Like, is it after high school? Is it after college? Is it after you get married? Is it after you have a kid? You know what I mean? Where is the man? It's no real manuscripts of how to navigate. Yeah. All I can say, like we said earlier, is keep moving forward.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't get caught up in comparison. Like, don't get caught up in the feed, bro.
The feed.
Get out of the feed, man.
It'll pull you down a path that you don't want to be on. Like it's not a good place to be.
That's a bar. Me and him just came with it. Don't get caught up in the feed.
Don't get caught up in the feed.
Because the feed, bro, takes us down a dark path. I've had so many, dude, did you see the feed? You see, it's like, no, dude, like I don't look at those pages that like will take me down another narrative or another route, because it happens to all of us. Like, I could have been here, I could have done that, but I made that sacrifice. I made this sacrifice.
Because
like,
attention is powerful. Like, where you put your attention, that's where your life is going to go. If you look at negative things all day, you're scrolling through TikTok or whatever, and all you see is wars and killings and murders and robberies, and you go out the door and you want a happy, fulfilled life, you know, it's never going to happen. Never gonna
happen. You've been feeding yourself with the feed of negativity, you know? And I think that you said that too. It's like, that's a bigger question. Like, what are we feeding ourselves? Is it because like it's being programmed to be fed, or do we really like what we're eating? Like, that's what I noticed. Like, cause it's like, most people are not, do you really like that song? Do you really like that book? Do you really like that pop? Or is it because all your friends like it? Or you don't want to be alone, right? You're afraid of being alone. So I got to like it too. So it's like, you gotta be, is that your actual original thought? You gotta check. I check myself all the time. Like, am I wearing this because like I want to, or am I going this way because I really like, you know, you got to check that perspective.
Exactly.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype, bro.
Yeah. Here, I'm going to change the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just warming up, man.
Yeah, I know.
Just warming up. Dude. Yeah. That's smart.
20 minutes flew by like nothing.
Think ahead of the game, but it felt like 5.
I know. It felt like 5.
It felt like 5.
Exactly, dude. This is a time machine, bro. Like, every time I do this, I don't even know where time goes.
And that's when you know it's like a real, genuine convo, because it only feels like it's been like minutes, you know?
Yeah.
I've been in some interviews where I'm like, dude,
the time is
like, yeah, I gotta go. I gotta whatever. Because you know, when the person doesn't want to really interview, they're just like, I'm filling the slot or whatever.
Yeah, I know.
But you really take time and attention to detail, and that's I'm giving you your flowers. I don't know what episode this is, but giving you your flowers on this episode, man. Of being championing this in a like we said, the desert, right? And you're watering the seed, and you know, looking for the lagoon and all that stuff, and that's awesome.
I know, it's something just had to come out. Like, there's something in me that I think everybody has. This is what Les Brown said. He's like a great speaker. He said, everyone has greatness within them. Don't die with the greatness you have. Like, don't you, on your deathbed, you don't want to have all your dreams and aspirations come out and tell you that we couldn't live because you didn't take a chance on yourself.
Dude, that's so real. Dude, that reminds me of the Matrix, you know, Matrix buff. Notice I like to like soliloquy like things in like that.
I know. I saw a video recently that like this guy was talking about the Matrix is not just a movie. It's real.
It's a real thing. So like, you know, when the thing, like he's like Neo comes into like after like the first movie, right?
Yeah.
He goes into like, he talks to like, there is no spoon and that type of stuff, whatever. Like, we all know about that. Like, there is no spoon. Like we understand what that means now. But the Oracle says something so powerful. She's like, yo, you're here because you've already made the choice. And I finally got that. It's like, we're here that we already made the choice, but now you understand why we made the choice. Now we're here to find out why we made the choice.
Yeah.
And that's so deep. It's like, why did he do the podcast? Why do I do what I do? And that's like, we get to do it.
Why is the best question you could ever ask yourself?
Because it's like, we've already made the decision. It's already happened. It's like, this afterthought.
Now, the why should be the first
wise thing.
The why is like the first thing I think about when I do anything, because the purpose will pull you in a certain direction. Like, it'll pull you through every obstacle you have. If you don't have or there's a Jim Rohn saying, another great speaker I love listening to. He said, if the why is powerful, the how is easy.
1,000%. 1,000%, dude. And I think that's, like you said, it's like everyone's kind of like the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
We're just like, yo, I have a purpose. I'm going to save Morpheus. And then like Neo's still like, I'm not the one. And everything's, it's just like us, right? Everything's pointing at us, that's showing us that we have the skills to be the one, but we're still in doubt because we don't understand the how. And I feel like, yet again, the podcast is like the Trojan horse for like people to understand the why.
The why.
You know what I mean? Because you got to talk. It doesn't happen in this convo. It happens in multiple conversations, multiple hours. You know, self-love, self-care.
Takes,
you know what I mean?
Years to develop.
Takes the inner work, dude. Like, that's why during the pandemic, like, you know, there was no clubs to hype us up. There was no this. There was no that. So then people had to really understand.
Go within.
The hype word of like self-love. Do you really love yourself? Let me watch. Let me watch if you really love yourself. Do you understand self-care? Can you say that to yourself in the mirror? Are you afraid of that? Looking yourself in the mirror, dealing with those inner demons because like you don't have maybe the event to go to or the school to go to or you know what I mean, the club to go to escape. Yeah. So it's like you got to escape sometimes to yourself. And that's the scary thing for some people.
Yeah. If you're not in good company with yourself, that's a problem. That's a problem. Because I think the biggest relationship you should have is with yourself. Like that's
true.
If you don't have it clear up here, then I think all the inner world expresses itself in the outer. So if you don't have a good relationship with yourself within, then every relationship that you have outside gets affected.
1,000%, because you're moving from a half empty cup. I was moving from a half empty cup, you know.
I think everybody starts off that way.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You start off with
you know what I mean? Half empty cup, and you're just like, yeah, I'm full. I'm full. Then you realize, like, no, dude, I'm empty. I need to be filled up, like, constantly. I don't always have to be the one to talk. Like, I like to receive, like. And sometimes it's cool just to be quiet and to stop and then to not go. Maybe rest that day.
Rest, yeah.
I was not a big proponent of rest. I would never.
Really?
Bro, if you would have talked to me in your seat, rest. Yeah. I'll rest when I'm 40, 50, dude.
Rest when you're dead.
Rest when you're dead, dude. No, but like, dude, if you want real intention, sometimes you got to pause, bro. Yeah. And that comes from like listening to like mentors that are like, yo, dude, you're going to need to rest. Yeah. Something's going to happen.
I know one of my favorite speakers, Wayne Dyer, he used to always say, there's a time for everything. There's a time for action and there's a time for rest. Nothing if you look out in nature, nothing happens instantly. Everything takes its own course and time. The rain comes, then grows the seeds. The flowers bloom at a certain time. It doesn't just happen like right away. There's a time.
But society like keeps us in this like, even you Cal State, bro.
Yeah, but
keeps
don't
us
listen to society.
But it keeps us in that box of like, you got to hustle, bro. You got to get that card. Yeah,
but you know, you got to fucking block it out.
Got to block that out. Block that noise out. I'm telling you guys, and I know it's hard.
It's everything you want is hard.
We're still talking through this.
Everything you really want, everything that's good is hard. Yeah. Always remember that. Yeah. It's everything that you really want out of life is going to be hard. Yeah. Then do it hard. Yeah. If that's the only thing, like it's, to me, I would rather do it hard and do hard things than be miserable doing easy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 1,000%, man. It's sometimes hard to do the hard things first.
It's hard,
right? You know,
it's hard.
Coming from, it's hard to do the hard thing, right?
Yeah, it's hard.
That's a bar right there. Man, I can say that coming from a place of like, even speaking of Cal State Fullerton, and I'm free to say it now. I used to be so ashamed, but like, yeah, dude, like I was an ASI guy. I was guy on campus doing my thing, this and that, but I was like failing my math class, right? And you know, in Cal State, like you only got 2 times to like fit class, or you're out. So I was like, I got it, and not wanting to do everything else easy. I was acing social life, other classes, this and that. But I didn't focus on the hard thing first, and that led down a path of not passing the class again, and then me having to get back into the school because I didn't focus on those hard things first. But if that didn't happen, it built character in me. Everything since that point, I was the guy. Everybody knew me. There were, teachers who would pass me through. But if it hadn't have been for that time, that teaching, that little year that I had to like go to the JCs and feel like I was less than a man, I lost my way, family like turned like, what's happening to you, son? Yeah. And I, figured out a way and looked in the handbook to, the stop out to get back into Cal State. Thank God for that little loophole. I wouldn't, have the person I am today. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it would have been like, you could just kind of coast and kind of talk your way and be a charmer and be the guy and get through things. But like he said, you got to focus on those hard things that
don't run
hurt.
away from it.
Yeah. And then we don't like pain as human beings.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's kind of designed in a perfect way though. Like, but it takes understanding and awareness to realize it's perfect. In the moment, you don't want to do the hard things. Nobody wants to do hard things. I don't want to do hard things. You don't want to do hard things. We want to be comfortable. But once you realize that doing easy things will lead to a worse like persona of yourself, you just will do less than you can, right? Like another Jim Rohn story goes something like this. He said, every other life form on Earth strives to the max. You don't see a tree growing half as high as it could.
That's true.
You don't see any other life form on Earth doesn't grow half. It gives all that it possibly can, except human beings.
So we're not working at our full potential.
Full potential. And doing less than you possibly can erodes your self-image, erodes your self-esteem. Doing less than you can because you know that like
there's more.
There's more that you know that you could do more.
Feel it on the inside.
Everything tells you
it's
that
more.
There's more that you could do. There's more that you can have. There's more that you can become. But if you allow doing easy things, doing comfort, being in the comfort zone to keep you in a place where you're doing less, it will make you feel like the worst person. Like it'll completely like change your attitude to a completely negative person because you aren't doing all that you can.
Yeah, 1,000%. It's something that you said that was so powerful about the comfort zone. And I finally like figured, I was like, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like, because you'd only really learn or grow in uncomfortable situations, but no one's like, says like, yo, bro, be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like it's like we skip over that. What do you mean? Why did he say be uncomfortable? Like the first thing he said to me. I don't like that. I don't like how that sounded. It doesn't sound sexy on the ear to hear like be comfortable with being uncomfortable. But now
the yes theory guys try to share that. Seek discomfort.
Exactly.
I love them for sharing that message because exactly like nobody grows in comfort. Like the only reason a seed turns into a tree is because it basically like rips itself apart, like the seed, the outer form of it rips itself to grow something else. Like there's
caterpillar has to go through the cocoon, all the stages, right?
All the stages. So if you want to become somebody that's extraordinary, that doesn't live like everybody else lives, you have to do.
And you hit the nail on the head.
Things.
Who's willing to be extraordinary? You know what I mean? Yeah. Now into like, well, you could just kind of like coast culture.
That's
you know
what I mean? That's one of the things that Jim Rohn said was the reason human beings do less than they can is because they have a choice. You don't have to do all that you can.
Yeah,
a tree grows all that it possibly can because that's its instinct. That's what's in its code to grow. Wherever it sees sunlight, it will grow. Like weeds will grow through the cracks of a sidewalk because that's what it does. But human beings, you could just sit on a couch for 10 years and
that's it.
Have a minimum wage job and go through life.
Netflix,
you could do that.
Netflix and
that's more than possible.
Yeah.
That's more than possible, but you're doing less than you can. And I guarantee you'll be unfulfilled.
Which then leads to like regrets at the end.
Regrets, yeah.
You know what I mean? We just broke the code for regrets.
Do all that you
do
can.
all that you can.
Yeah.
Like, do all that you can. Like, seriously, like that's the code for like, oh, I should have done that. I should have did this and that.
I know Ben Franklin has a good quote. He said, most people die at the age of 25 and aren't buried until 75.
It's crazy.
Because they give up like their purpose. Like everything in you is trying to tell you that you have more to give. You have so much in you. Like all the dreams are real. Like the visions you have are real. Like you could go there. All those, the places, the business you want to start, possibilities that you have in your life are all there for you to go through and to have the journey and process towards it. But it's not going to be a straight line up. You're going to go to hell a few times and then you're going to come back up.
Yeah.
It's all a cycle that one must go through.
Yeah, man. Bro, we're giving you guys the codes of self-esteem right here, man. That's all I'm hearing is like, if you're having like troubles with your self-esteem right now, these are the codes, man. And because these aren't like cookie cutter, like just be happy and believe. And like, I know how you guys are thinking and manifestation, all the cookie. We were talking about these buzzwords, you know what I mean? But we're giving you, there's two guys who've been through some things that's giving you some real perspective. And I think that's what it is. We all have vast perspectives. But these are some tools to have in your tool house for the life experience.
Yeah. And I don't ask anybody to believe in everything that I believe in. Like, it's not about believing. I share these ideas because I hope it makes you think. I hope it makes you ponder. That's all the most important.
It's a seed.
Part. Yeah.
If it catches, it catches. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, that's why I love like just these type of combos, you know what I mean? Because it's not like, you got to do, you know how some guys are self-help guys.
This is exactly what you do. Yeah,
this was how I got, like, dude, we're still figuring it all out too. Yeah. We have our low days, we have our up days though, but we keep showing up. Just don't stop showing up for yourself. Don't sleep on yourself. Like so many of just people in general, not just guys, like you just sleep on your potential. Like you were saying, like, don't fall asleep at 25 because I know 25, you don't have this at 30. I'm 31. And it's like, oh, you're supposed to do this at 31. All these like timelines that people give us. Dude, you are your own timeline.
Everybody has their own.
Everybody has their own. Quit worrying about my timeline. I'm going to get there, dude. It's okay. I'm not even 40. Pause. Not even 50 now.
50's young.
Pause.
I think Gary Vee made that like popular for me, like that idea. Like I didn't think of it that way until he mentioned the
programming.
Yeah, until he mentioned it. Like people, every 60-year-old, 70-year-old in my life wasn't going after it. So I was like, people decline, and then he's like, no, you don't have to decline. Like you don't have to
get better.
Better, yeah. You don't. People choose to decline. Don't choose to decline. Continuously improve yourself. It doesn't matter what your age is. Like he's, I think, almost 45, 46 now. And
looks younger than some 30-year-olds, dude.
I know, still has the energy, the vitality to go after whatever he wants to do, and still is relatable and tries to, he has younger people around him that it doesn't seem like he's an old person, like just character wise. He's not. Yeah.
No, because your spirit can be young forever. You know what I mean? And speaking of like the upward bound, like the mountain goes up.
The mountain goes up, yeah.
It doesn't go down. You go up in elevation, you know what I mean? Then you finally reach whatever your peak is, you know what I mean? But the life is the mountain forever until we all, God forbid, reach our peak, But
I don't think there is a peak.
Even the journey,
Yeah. We have, I think it works kind of like a constant.
I like that there is no peak.
A constant peak.
There is no spoon. Yeah.
It's like a infinite mountain range where
that's cool. Constantly.
You have clouds covering every other mountain, but you see a mountain you want to climb, right?
Yeah.
And you start walking towards it. It might seem clouded in the beginning, but you keep walking, and then you get to the top. And then as you turn back and you realize how many steps you've climbed, how much you've gained, how much you've experienced, you turn right back around, and there's another one.
Dude, that's an infinite. That's an infinite reduction. That's like Plato's theory of the cave. Yeah, dude. No, that's deep.
Yeah,
that's deep, man.
You just keep going.
There is no peak, guys. We just broke another code. There's no peak. There's no peak. You just keep climbing. That's life's journey. Les
Brown also put it this way. He said, he was speaking in front of a crowd. He said, practice makes what? And everybody said perfect.
Perfect, right.
And he said, absolutely not. Practice always makes better. You could always improve your best.
What's that Kobe system thing where he's like, Kobe, how much more records do you want me to break? He's like, more records, right?
Records, yeah, with Kanye.
yeah. You're the same beast and animal. It's the same thing, you know? That's true.
Exactly.
No, there is no peak, guys. Like, thank you for that.
There's
that that moment of that download, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm freed with that. Like, there is no peak.
Yeah, you could
because that's a part of the program. I'm still, guys. I'm still, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still, sometimes jacked into the programming. You know what I mean? Like, there is the mountaintop. You know what I mean? Once you reach the mountaintop, it's like no, dude. There's several other mountaintops to like climb.
Yeah, and the good, like the fulfillment in it is not reaching the mountaintop. It's the journey to the mountaintop. Because you'll never get to the top. Like the universe is designed in a way that there's no top. Like, it's literally infinite. Infinite means no beginning and no end.
Yeah.
So if there's no beginning, you could walk left in an infinite space for forever, and you'll never reach the end. You'll always be the center, no matter where you are.
Right.
Because it's infinite. And this is how the universe is designed, right? I don't know why. Maybe I don't know what created this.
The creator or whatever you believe.
I don't know. But this is how it works.
This is how it works. Yeah.
It's infinite, and the potential.
Your potential is infinite. Everything's infinite.
Everything's infinite.
Yeah.
Like you don't have enough lifetimes to give what you have within you. Like there's so much that you could do.
There's some, like, guys, if you could feel the energy in here, there's major seismic shifts happening, like, within the energy that we're putting out there into the universe, man. Like, this is a special interview, you guys. Like, just tap into these codes. Like, I hope you're like, we're not just like flapping our gums up here, like giving you, that's why I keep like coming back. Cause like Shia was saying, like, it's like some stuff people can, like, it's performative. I've heard that. These guys, they're of a level of success, so they're like coming back to us, like, the Plato's theory of the cave. Like, once you get out, make sure you pull the one up and stuff like that. It's like, no, man, we're giving you the infinite, like, energy talk. You know what
awareness.
I mean? Awareness of oneself. And you're like, yo, we're not above you. We're right with you.
Yeah, we're
walking right with you through the treacherous, journey of the infinitesimal desert, right? And man, I'm just grateful to be here, man, with you in this convo, man. Dude.
Same.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, I love sharing these ideas because it's helped me so much, and I know it could help everybody else. Dude, like, I know it
for sure, major breakthroughs. People need these type of breakthroughs to listen to. You know what I mean? And your platform is providing them, man.
Thanks, man. Like, all I do is share. Like, I have no intention of, like, this is how I want to, like, be remembered for or anything. I just share ideas. Like, that's all I do.
And that's a dope way of looking at it, man. And because it's like, when you have those preconceived notions, that you can tell in, like, the delivery of the message and how it's all done, and everything's very fluid.
Thank you, man. I just love doing it. I love sharing ideas that make my life better. Like, the reason I shared is because I need it.
I'm teaching. Yeah. Right? I'm talking to myself. Yeah. Same here, bro. Yeah. I'm talking to myself, guys.
I'm literally talking to myself. Yeah.
We're talking through this.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of it. To, like, the whole idea of communal learning is, like, we're talking through this thing together.
Yeah. And I'm glad we live in this time where the information has become available.
Yeah. The information highway is open.
The information is practically free, and the only reason I could talk about these things is because of YouTube and because of finding, articles and various information on the internet that you could look up quotes from, philosophers that have been around, that have been long gone for hundreds of years. And they might have spoken to a group of people thousands of years ago.
Still applies today.
And still applies. Like somebody had written it down, and I can now go on this website and look up quotes from, you know, Marcus Aurelius or from Plato or you know, who else? I don't even know. There's millions.
Yeah,
but,
so many.
Yes, that's what I do a lot of the times is look up Henry Ford quotes and Albert Einstein. Like Albert Einstein is one of the greatest minds to ever walk the earth. Like he's more than a genius in my opinion. He understood
Galileo.
Consciousness.
Yeah,
you know, he understood that it's one of the quotes that I try to think of and remind myself every time I'm in a problem is he said, you can't solve a problem with the same consciousness that created it. Meaning you might be thinking in a certain pattern here that created the problem, because all thoughts have to be expressed, and the only way it's expressed is through this physical reality, right? And so he said, if you want to have a solution to this problem, every problem has a solution because this universe is again designed in a way where it's balanced. Yeah, like nothing can exist.
Every reaction has a reaction.
Yeah, everything. There's up, down, left, right, positive, negative, light, dark. Anything you think of has an opposite. And he said, well, if the failure, you now experience the failure, you now have to go to a different level of thinking in order to get the solution.
Yeah, because you can't get the solution from the same place of the problem. You
exactly.
know what I mean? It's like the whole idea of ego death, right? And I was like, hey, this is another buzzword, right? Ego death. I killed my ego, bro. It's like, yo, but the ego can be useful in certain things. It's just constantly keeping the ego in check and noticing when you can use your ego for good. That's where like people get it messed up. The ego's fine. We just let it run rampant. So then that's when you got to like check it and cut it down. Then we have to say out loud, I killed my ego death, you know, until it's like, dude, like we get it. You killed your ego. It's like, it can be useful. Like for this, it's a form of us using our egos to like, you know what I mean? Spread the message. Because if it was completely done, we'd be like, dude, be quiet. I'm not going to say anything. Like,
you'll be at peace with literally all life. Like if you have, I think that's what being God is. Like that's once you have no ego, like you're God basically.
Exactly.
Like you're only love. There's no opposite of love. This is just love by itself. Just sitting.
It's the ultimate power, man.
Yeah.
It's ultimate power and force that you can't, you know, that people can't, you cannot never shoot that down. You can feel it.
You could feel it. Yeah. You can't, you'll never be able to see it. Like you'll never be able to see
it, you know, but you know, it's
energy.
there. You know what that energy feels like when you're in an environment of love, because anything is possible.
Yeah. And speaking of like the ego and you talked about earlier, how you went through it, like that process of discovering yourself.
Yeah, man.
The ego.
I was doing a lot in 2000 and like, well, 2015 all the way up till like 18. And I was meeting a lot of celebrities. I was doing Classic Gentlemen and doing the club scene. And I had a moment with one of my boys from like LA, and he was all like, dude, is this you? I'm like, what do you mean, dude, is this me? Like, no, is this you? I'm like, yeah, dude, like, I got all these people here, 200, 300 people, celebrity. Yeah, me. He's like, no, dude, where are you? Like, is this really who you are? And I was like, this isn't me. Like, it's a part of me, but I'm a connector. Like, where am I leading all these people to? I'm going to lead them to the club every single weekend. Like, am I going to lead them? You know, like, it made me check who I was. And at that very point, I realized that I was addicted to the applause. You're the guy every weekend fully. He knows what's up. The minute that I took that away and I stopped doing the club stuff and stopped doing so much out there, I realized who was really in my corner. So the applause became my drug. Yeah. And I realized I had to cut out the drug.
Cut out the drug.
Which cut out my ego was then like, I need to have a purpose of, where I'm leading people on my page or where I tell them to go or all these different things. But all those things I felt, God, you're on my team. We say, God, you're blessing me, God, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I'm blessing you because you're forcing it.
Exactly.
And so I had to like trim the fat. And now I know I'm like, this interview is a part of leading people towards a more positive place than any other celebrity I could take a photo with or a club I could be in or any other space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it can be addictive. But I'm also grateful because if I wouldn't have went through the process, I wouldn't know how to handle that now when another opportunity arises. I know not to get addicted to the applause.
Yeah.
And then like the applause became kind of a prison because if I didn't do it,
then you would feel
I'm not
bad
valuable.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy anymore. Oh, someone else is taking my spot. And then it's chess piece moves. And like, who are they? Instead of moving, like you said, from a place of love.
Once you understand that like perspective and you
move from there,
that's your lens through life, you'll realize like there's no pie of success. There's no like here's the amount of success that everybody could have and everybody starts taking it. No, it's infinite. Everything in this world is infinite. Anybody could have anything they want all the time, and it's up to you to view it that way. If you think there's limited, I guarantee you it will be limited for you because your perspective is so limited in itself. That's thinking, oh, why can't I do that? Or this person being successful is a detriment to me, right?
That's exactly the lens I was looking through.
And once you can come across to the perspective of, I'm glad that they're being successful. I'm glad that they're winning.
Completely different place of energy, vibe, and then you realize I'm more than enough, even without those things. I'm at home right now, and I'm more than enough, and I'm. And cool I think
what
that.
You give is exactly what you get back. So if you give the energy and thought of, I want that person to win, and I'm happy for that person to win, the universe is going to come right to you. And
give it right back.
Give it right back to you.
Yeah, and and then too, it's like you got to leave space for the next person to come in, and that's what I wasn't even thinking about because we're as a society wired, right? Like, yo, I want to, that's why we have the 100-year-old or 50-year-old that's still like, it's dope. Like we're saying, that's the other side, right? Where you're not like letting us, in the space, noticing, like when it's like, it's time to gracefully like transition to the next phase.
There's time for everything.
Yeah.
It always happens on the perfect time.
The perfect timing, bro. Because like, man, me still club promoting like at 31, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But people do. We know guys and they power to them and they get money and all that type of stuff. But it's like, that's not where I want to like end up.
Yeah.
I want to end up like here giving, codes and talking through things and messages and all the stuff that we're doing right now.
Yeah, as long as you're happy and fulfilled in whatever state you're in.
That's when you're in the right space.
That's in the right space.
Because you're not looking over your shoulder anymore. I was looking at them like, yo, who's going to come like and try to take my spot? You know, when you're in that ego, like, yo, that, we're going to kill them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's us over here. You know what I mean? You could feel like how you talk
if you think,
interact.
Yeah, when you think that you're better than everybody else because you have this car or this opportunity, that's not. I mean, I'm so far ahead. Like I'm so like not in that headspace that it's hard for me to talk about it because it's just not who I am at all. Like I don't think that way. There's not one part of me that thinks that I'm better than anybody else because of anything. I think I'm the same as everybody. And that I don't have to destroy other people to make myself better. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great quality and trait to have. You know what I mean? And like you said, like I told you earlier, you're definitely ahead of the curve because that's an instinctual as a man, like conquer, like we said, we gonna kill it. And why can't we bring it to life? Why can't we collaborate? You know what I mean? It's just like, that's not what we're taught. We're like, Hunter, be the best, be better than him. Life's a what? Competition, not life's a collaboration. You know what I mean? Like it's all these programmings from little kids, especially men up until now. Like, you got to go get the best girl and get the best job. Like, well, why not? Are you happy?
Yeah.
Not are you happy, right? Like, are your mental health good? Like, none of those, right? Like, that's where the programming has to start. And we're going to be a part of that generation too.
I know it's changing. It's definitely changing. And I'm glad it is, because I see more people now than ever doing what they love, like doing something that makes them happy, that in turn makes everybody around them happy. If you're happy, like
your whole crew, your whole tribe will be happy.
Yeah, everything. Family's happy. Like it's all stems from your inner belief and your inner workaround. And the thing that helped me most was to look at it from my death. Meaning, when there's a great like Latin phrase, memento mori, meaning remember your death. So as you're living, you could go to a place of death, thinking about the time where in the future, not everybody is here to live forever, right?
I mean, we all have to go there.
Yeah.
Eventually.
We all have to go. It's part of life. It's
inevitable, right?
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
And so if you can get to that place within of that you're going to die, that this isn't meant forever, that one day you're going to close your eyes and never wake up, never again to walk this earth and to do the things that you wanted to do. And so if you go to that place, you'll realize what the real thing is. Like, what do I really want
to do?
Yeah.
No, that's deep, dude. Like Kanye says that a lot. He's like, yo, we're going to die. What did you do? You know, and said like, everyone's afraid of the death conversation, but to lead from that conversation internally. Yeah, you don't have, I'm not saying go kill yourself. Everyone, we're telling you, hey, live from the death place, right? Yeah. But no, like
it's a perspective.
Look at it from that perspective. Make sure you're doing what you really, like we're talking about, is it what you really want to do? You know?
And all things, I think, stem from that. Like once you have purpose in life, your whole life opens up.
Yeah.
It's that figuring it out, because human beings, again, we're unlimited in our capacity to do things. And that's a blessing and a curse. Like, I talked about, like a lion is just a lion. Like it hunts, it takes a shit, goes to sleep.
Right.
It does what a lion does. But a human being, you can't put a tag on a human being.
Yeah.
Like what is it, a human being? Like, well, we have astronauts, we have alpine skiers, we have basketball players, we have, artists, we have producers, we have this, we have that. There's unlimited things that a human being can do. Right. So finding that that whatever makes you fulfilled and like loving and just in a high state of mind, finding that is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. But
that is life's conundrum, right? Like, why am I created? Why was I put here? What is my purpose? What's my assignment? You know what I mean? Because in all the distractions and all the noise, you could be doing something. I think T-Pain was saying that he studied like all summer. He was doing like stuff for like band or whatever. And he studied like this page, right? And he was like going crazy on the drums, studying the page for like the whole summer. So he finally gets to his teacher and he plays it for his teacher. And he's like, oh my God. His teacher was like, wow, because he wanted the first chair. Yeah. And then the teacher says, you've been on the wrong page. Great job. So make sure you're on the right page for whatever you're doing. You could be making money and that could be the wrong page. Yeah. You'd not be making money. You gotta be, reverse it, be the right page. So it's like, just make sure whatever you do, you're on the right page.
And I think, and like I talked about before the podcast, the feeling tells you right away.
Oh, feeling tells you when you're on the right page. Energy. The vibe,
you just know.
You just feel deep inside, like when you're on the wrong page, like course correction.
Yeah.
And then sometimes your ego or hubris, will guide you down the wrong guidance system, and you won't know until someone like has to talk to you like me, and then like, yo, you're on the wrong page, dude. Because you have so much, yes, people in your ear sometimes saying like, yes, you're the guy, do it, yes, you're the guy. Blah, blah.
And I think one of the reasons I was able to understand this perspective was because I knew that if I continued to identify myself with what other people thought, the second they don't say that, I'll lose all my identity.
You are, yeah.
Like everything goes just because it's in other people's control. And I never wanted that life. Like I never wanted to
you can't
feel.
We give as human beings, people so much power. We should never give everyone all that much power. Mm-hmm. But we do. I've done it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like,
definitely done,
you should not give everyone that much power, but we do.
Yeah. We care. We care about ourselves more, or like,
it's from
we care about ourselves.
It's a place of being selfish.
We care about ourselves more than anybody else, but we care about other people's opinions
of
more
us
than our own opinion.
So we're selfish to a point, but not that selfish.
Yeah, it's twisted in a way.
It's a twisted thing. It's a catch-22. Yeah. Because you're selfish coming from a place of selfishness by like, looking at it from their lens. Because I'm using your energy and your value and stuff.
Because 90% of the thoughts we think of are about ourselves.
1,000%.
Like we're not thinking of other people 90% of the time. We're thinking about our issues, our agenda, what we want to do, and it's just about ourselves. But the second somebody says something to you in a negative or positive way, people internalize it. Mm-hmm. And that internalizing causes your mind to be programmed in a way that it needs that. And the second it needs that, you're dependent.
It becomes a drug.
Yeah, exactly. And the only way to get out of that is to understand that. I think, who is it? Maslow said, "Be independent of the good opinion of other people."
Yeah, that's why it's good to have like constructive criticism.
Yeah.
So you know like how it feels. I gotta tell my boys all the time. Tell me the real, not because you're my boys. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And not enough people do that, I feel like.
Yeah.
You got to have the ones that be like, it's whack. Mm-hmm. Shut it down. Retry. Or you could do better here, bro. And love them enough to be like, okay, dude, like, respect your opinion. You know, you got to have those real ones. They're not going to hurt you, obviously. But like, it's like, we're not God. We don't know everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Exactly. Yeah. And know it from yourself too. Like be hard on yourself sometimes as well.
Ooh, that's the hardest, man.
Yeah.
Those self-talks.
Yeah.
Those inner demons.
Fight them, bro. Fight them. You have, that's to me.
That's a real bar right there. Those inner demons, fighting them and killing them off. Mm-hmm. That's a work in itself.
That takes like almost all my energy to
Oh, me too, dude. When I was going through the pandemic 2011, I had a month of that where like I was somewhat sick. I thought it could have been the vid and stuff like that, and I found myself like fighting those demons because it's like all you have is the room and you and your thoughts, and you're like, dude, I was just going to like not deal with it, because you can fill it. Guys like it can fill up our schedule. Another pod, another event, another song, another activity, this and that. So it's always something. Always something to do.
Yeah.
Fill up that time. When you got that's just you in that room
by yourself.
And you're like, oh, that was messed up when you did that. You shouldn't have did that, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, why do you think this way?
Those moments are important, man.
To
reflect on the things that you did and the things that you want to do. Because without that, without the reflection, you don't understand who you are, like the things that you do. Because if you just go through life, and of course you might be living in the moment and whatever, but if you just go through it and never think about the things that you think were wrong and why you need to change them and what you want out of life, but why do you want it? And I'm here now. So, and this is where I want to go. And you have to have these thoughts and inner reflections, because that's what builds you.
That's what builds the real character. This builds the real character, man. And I'm sure he can attest. I encourage, take that time to deal with those inner demons before, who knows? Some of our greatest stars, if they would have dealt with those inner demons, wouldn't be getting Me Too. You know what I mean? They were just another show, another movie, another this, another that. But because that's what the program, I go back to it, tells you to do. Keep it always something's popping. Have another this, have another that. Because we're always building. We're builders. But it's like, yo, dude, it's okay to like kind of
not do it
and not do and check in on you.
Yeah, because it's like unread emails. You know, like some people might go through all their life without checking a single email because they're just so busy. But if you don't check it, it's like a time bomb. Like something's bound to.
And eventually, the emails get clogged up.
Yeah, get clogged up. It's not like
you can't send another email.
Yeah,
and you're messed up now when you can't send another email.
And then you look at it,
phone,
and you
have
see
enough space.
Yeah, and you look at it, and you realize this much has piled up, and it seems daunting to go through it.
You got to delete.
Yeah,
you got to take things out of your life. Man, we're coming up with so many codes, bro. This pod's going crazy, you guys.
Yeah, straight off the dome. Like we're not. I don't plan anything with this. I just fucking riff because it brings out the best ideas and thoughts.
The stream of conscious, man. Free flow stream of conscious is the best way to do interviews. You know,
just flow and
real flow state. This has been a whole flow state interview, man.
Yeah. Every time I do it, it feels like that, which leads me to
you're going in the right direction.
I'm going to.
You don't have to come from the card book and be like, hey, this, that, that.
I used to do that. Or the first episode that I ever interviewed somebody, his name's Evan.
Mm-hmm.
He was a college basketball player, and I had a list of questions that I brought because this was the first time I'm ever going to interview somebody, right? Like, I don't know what I want to be prepared. This is how I think
I've been taught.
Yeah, I've been taught. Yeah, like
program.
Society. Yeah. Okay. And I go in and I'm nervous as hell.
Right.
Nervous, like sweating. I had the equipment set up, double checking everything, making sure this is working right. And I have the paper and I start off, and you know, I'm at a place where I can't even think, right? Because there's so many things going on in my mind. Too many thoughts.
He's looking at me. This and that camera.
All this, and then I'm just saying the questions because I had all this planned.
You're not present.
I'm not present. Yeah. And it got me out of it. And I mean, that interview's still there. Like it's atrocious, but you had to start somewhere, right?
Start somewhere.
And I learned from then on is I don't need like questions. Like that's
a script sometimes, dude.
Yeah. No, I don't do any
life's script. Not a script.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they tell us to script. You know what I mean? Those are the programming.
and soon on in the beginning without like any questions planned or anything, it's hard. Like I didn't know how to garner
get to these type of conversations.
Conversation. Yeah. Like how to go from talking about a topic to something that's much broader and
more fulfilling.
More fulfilling. And what should I talk about? And is this topic going to be good? And I had all these questions about it. And soon I just let go of all of it and realized if I'm just myself, if I'm just talking about things that I want to talk about and things that I'm interested in and just share it with people, 10 out of 10 times, it's going to be a perfect conversation that everybody's going to love listening to. And I mean, I basically just had to get out of my own way.
Yeah, dude, you got it. It really is letting go and let the universe, let God take the wheel.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? In these creative type of spaces, because people know when you're being inauthentic and not genuine and you're just reading from the script.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They don't, the message doesn't get received.
Yeah.
So, but you think about it, you had to crash and burn so then you could come back. You know what I mean? And be a phoenix and then come to this, right? Yeah. So it's all a part of the journey, the process.
Yeah. And I'm glad it went that way where in the beginning you suck at something like it's terrible, but you had to start, right? I'm glad I'm proud of myself for that, is to, even though it was bad, do it bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the painter, right, is never really finished with the work, right? Mm-hmm. Constantly painting.
Constantly. Yeah. You could constantly improve. And that was my intention, was to always just improve every week. are there things that in this episode that I don't like, or things that I said that didn't come off the way I meant them to? And how can I improve that? And so I would listen to, and I continue to do this. Like I ask these questions, and I go and listen to other podcasts about people that I want to develop those skills, right, that other people have. And I listen to conversations, and I think, oh, I like how this person put it that way. I like how this person described that situation, and I could improve my vocabulary and improve parts of myself. And I realized if I got better, everything else got better.
The interview gets better.
Yeah.
The experience gets better for the viewer. Everything gets better. Everything gets better. Eventually you guys will get better. Yeah. We're all going to get better.
If you get better, your whole life
gets better. Yeah, man. And it definitely shows.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's see how long.
I mean, I think we've covered so much.
Yeah. It's been over an hour.
Hey, we're good, man. Yeah. We're good, man.
We started off kind of late on.
Hey, it was right on time.
Well, everything's on time.
Everything's on time.
Yeah. But thank you again for coming by.
Thank you for the experience, bro. I was enlightened and
same here.
Growed and intrigued and downloaded into and fed, man. So thank you for the experience.
I appreciate that, and same here. I'm always fascinated and more than willing to accept people that have ideas and that just are passionate about what they do, and they want to bring a positive impact onto the world. Like, those are special people, like that.
Oh man, yeah.
They people like yourselves and many people around the world that just want to share a positive light in people's lives.
The light is much greater than the darkness. We just have to, like we said, keep waking up.
Keep waking up. Yeah.
Hopefully, right?
Hopefully, yeah. It's a journey every day.
It's a journey. Yeah, man.
But it's a process every day. Infinite.
Yeah.
But hopefully you guys enjoyed the conversation as well.
Yeah.
And this was a fun one. Hopefully we could do it again.
I'm down, bro.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
And have a good one, guys.
Yeah.
Peace.